Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. As an entrepreneur, time management is essential to your success. You really have to be able to juggle a lot of different balls and still keep everything moving forward. That means being organized and efficient with your time. Now, are you imagining a juggler with all of the balls in the air, admiring the fact that they don't drop any of them? Maybe what comes to mind is the time you tried to juggle oranges and they kept splatting on the kitchen floor, making a mess. Let's face it, juggling looks easier than it is. But as an entrepreneur, it's a skill that you have to hone. The good news is that juggling looks different for everyone. Dictionary.com defines juggling as to keep in continuous motion in the air simultaneously by tossing and catching. Now, it also says to keep several objects, balls, plates, 10 pins, or knives in continuous motion in the air simultaneously by tossing and catching. Now, don't go juggling knives. But you'll notice a word in here. It says several objects. But what exactly is several? Because you're thinking about your business and you're thinking, okay, several, I have a lot of things. Well, several is defined as being more than two, but fewer than many in number or kind. So about three or more, right? We've got three or more. Now we're getting somewhere. In your business, you need to become a juggler, but that doesn't mean having 80 plates spinning effortlessly in the air. It might mean three things that you're balancing, and they could be nice, soft foam balls. What do your three things look like? Maybe it's one-on-one client calls, planning your calendar, and networking. Maybe right now it's planning a launch, staying focused on your social media consistency, and reaching out to new potential clients. Whatever your balls, plates, or oranges look like, today's episode is going to spark some ideas for how to become better as an expert juggler without the oranges splatting on the kitchen floor. If you are ready to learn about how to become more of an expert juggler in your business, grab your pen and paper. I'm Dr. Moore, a college psych professor, homeschooling mom, and entrepreneur, and I've spent the past 10 years learning how to balance everything. Here on the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, I'll share the ins and outs of maintaining a growth mindset and saying hello to grit, that thing that will get you to your long-term vision despite challenges and busy schedules. After all, you got into business to do more good in the world, right? So let's get started. Have you ever sat down to plan the week or the month and felt that moment of overwhelm? Yeah, me too. You're looking at what needs to be done within your business and what needs to be done outside your business just to keep life going. So the personal and the professional. And the funny thing is I was talking with a group of colleagues, entrepreneur colleagues this morning in our early morning co-working session. And we start at 6 a.m. And we talk for a minute or two to kind of catch up. And then we set our intentions for the 90 minutes and get to work. But today, what we were chatting about on this bright, sunshiny, almost morning, we were talking about planning for the week. And one of the business owners shared that she usually plans by the month, but recently she's been planning by the week and feeling more accomplished and feeling like she was getting more done. And we all kind of admitted that we'd been doing similar things. We were starting to plan by the week, looking at the month, but really focusing in on the week. And our productivity was up. We're feeling more accomplished. The juggling didn't feel as hard. Now you might be wondering, why are you telling me this story? The point of the story is that even if you're used to juggling in a certain way, you can be open to new ways of approaching your business and how to manage your time. And that's what today's all about. In fact, we are going to talk about how to manage time in your business. Some of the ideas that I share with you, you're going to say, oh, this is awesome. I love it. I'm going to apply it today. Some of these ideas you might think, this is not for me, or I'm not at that point in my business yet. My hope is truly that you'll take away at least one new idea or an old idea you had forgotten about and implement it today, this week, this month. So first up, let's talk about time management as a way to improve your juggling skills. One of the best ways to be more time efficient is to batch similar tasks together. For example, if you need to make a bunch of phone calls, do them all at once instead of spreading them out throughout the day. Or if you need to do some research, set aside a few hours to do it all at once instead of doing it a little bit at a time. And I was looking at research recently, And a lot of people have been bringing this up just in general, that it takes the brain quite a bit of time to shift tasks, which means if you decide that on any Monday morning, you need to do social media, respond to client emails, you need to set up new calendar links, and you need to work on a webinar. If you continually jump back and forth, so if you write one social media post, then you answer a client email, then you set up a calendar link, then you work on your webinar, then you go back to social media, it's going to take you a lot longer to do those tasks than if you get all of your social media done, then take care of all of those emails, then all the calendar links, then work on the webinar, or in whatever order you choose. The point is that if you can batch like things together, your brain will actually allow you to be much more effective and efficient with your time. And in thinking about that, the second tip that I want to share with you today is to make a schedule for yourself. Whether you're better at working in time blocks or task-based, create a schedule that allows you to maintain that focus and productivity. Like I just said, your brain is better when you are working on similar tasks all together. And when you have a schedule, you're committed to the work that you're doing. Think about it. When you write out what you want to get accomplished and you sit down to your desk, what happens? You get the stuff done. If you sit down at your desk and think, I'm going to spend the next 90 minutes working on my business, well, what happens? Chances are you've been on Facebook, you've done the daily Wordle, you have paid the bills for your home, you have checked email, and that 90 minutes rolls away and you haven't accomplished anything inside your business, or not nearly as much as you would have hoped if you had scheduled what needed to be done. This is one of the reasons that I really love co-working sessions, because you create a schedule with accountability and you get up when the session's over to take a break, which is something that we're going to talk about today as well, taking a break. But during those co-working sessions, you know you are responsible for working on your task list, and you report back at the end of that co-working session. It keeps you focused, keeps you from shifting gears and paying the house bills that you could easily pay 90 minutes from now. Okay, so that was the second tip. Make a schedule for yourself. First tip, remember, was to batch similar things. Second tip, schedule yourself. Third, define your goals so that you are only taking on tasks that are going to help you move the needle forward. I have just started using John Lee Dumas's 100-day goal journal, and it is really designed to help you move the needle forward. In the journal, you set your 100-day goal. So what goal do you want to achieve at the end of the next 100 days? And then each day it gets broken down into your 3 micro goals for the day. You assess how the day has gone, what has gone really well, what do you need to kind of keep an eye on or make adjustments for the next day. And along the way, what happens is you check in with your big goal every 10 days. Okay, so this means that you are defining your goals, then you're working toward them, but each step along the way, you're reassessing how your progress is coming along. And you can adjust how you're juggling so that you do get to that day 100 goal successfully. So if you need to start juggling 4 foam balls instead of 3, or go from 5 down to 3, you can do that in an appropriate time so that day 100 comes, goal is met. Okay, so those are some basic time management tips. Another thing that you can do to juggle more effectively in your business is to delegate and prioritize tasks. Try to, and this is where this may not apply to you just yet, try to delegate tasks that are not essential to your business or that could be handled by someone else. For example, if you own a small business, which many of you do, you may not need to handle the marketing yourself. You could hire someone to do it for you or to do it with you so that it's not as time consuming. You can also prioritize tasks that are essential to your business. If you're a busy entrepreneur, you may need to prioritize tasks like meeting with clients or networking because, well, meeting new people allows your business to thrive and grow to the extent that you desire. Simply creating new calendars, maybe not the most important task right now, whereas getting out and networking might be. Now, I did say that, maybe delegating tasks isn't possible for you right now. Maybe you don't have a team. So one of the things that you can do to juggle more effectively, delegating and prioritizing, is to actually start considering hiring a virtual assistant or other kind of support professional to help you with the tasks that lay outside your zone of genius. If you can spend more time on your zone of genius and less time on the time-sucking tasks that have to be done, but aren't your strength, you're going to get a whole lot further. And you can hire virtual assistants for just a few hours a week. There are so many services out there that will help you find a quality VA, virtual assistant, and meet your needs. And you may have to work through a few VAs to find the one that's just right for your business, but there are so many options out there these days that there's really no reason not to have a VA. All right, so we talked time management so far. Batch your stuff, make a schedule, define your goals. We talked about delegating and prioritizing. Delegate what's not essential or what's outside your zone of genius. And if you don't currently have a team to delegate to, consider hiring a virtual assistant, and then making sure that you're prioritizing the tasks that are essential to moving your business forward. Finally, if you are going to be an expert juggler, you need to take breaks. Can you imagine going to an event where there's a juggler and the juggler has been juggling nonstop 24/7 for 365 days straight? What do you think is going to happen? Those plates are going to come crashing down from fatigue, both mental and physical. If they're tossing oranges, well, they're going to become orange juice that needs to be mopped up from the kitchen floor. Taking time off as an entrepreneur cannot be a someday proposition. It is a necessity today. Now, before you shout at your phone saying that you need to make a profit before you take a vacation, please hear me out. I'm not suggesting an expensive vacation. I'm not actually even suggesting a vacation. What I'm suggesting is avoiding burnout that can lead to poor decision-making and can negatively impact your business. Taking breaks happens in a lot of different ways. Sure, a vacation is one way to take a break, but so is setting your phone alarm to get up and walk around for the last 10 minutes of every hour. So is taking a power nap when you feel exhausted after a long night up with a sick child, or sinking into a good book for a chapter or two to clear the cobwebs away and to just give yourself a moment to breathe. Taking a break might also be learning to say no. One of the biggest time management pitfalls is saying yes to everything. If you want to be successful, you need to learn to say no to some things so that you can focus on the most important goals that you have, that you're scheduling for yourself, and that you're batching together to be more effective. So taking a break isn't necessarily a vacation. Taking a break is also scheduling time for yourself. Make sure to schedule time for your hobbies, the things that get you interested and excited outside of work, the things that are yours. So sometimes I hear entrepreneurs, especially who have children in the home, say, well, I don't have time for hobbies. I've got to get my kiddo to dance, to music lessons, to sports practice, and then we sit and then we drive to the next practice, or I've got to help with homework. I promise you that if you can find even 10 minutes a day to do something that you love that's for you alone, you are going to be a better parent. You are going to be able to be more present, more enthusiastic about doing all that driving and all of that homework help than if you don't take time for yourself. So it's going to help you relax. It's going to help you recharge. It's going to help you be more productive when you're working, if you take time for those hobbies or those things that are interesting to you. Now, we've been talking about taking a break, and this is the point of the episode where I usually say this week's action item. Gosh, it seems a little bit counterintuitive at this exact moment. So let's do a little bit of a recap, and then let's talk about the action item, and hopefully it'll feel like it jives with our lessons for the week. We talked about 3 main ways to become an expert juggler in your business. First, we discussed the importance of time management. batch creating content, making a schedule for yourself, defining your goals. All of these things are going to help you better use your time and keep those oranges in the air instead of a sticky mess on your kitchen floor. Second, we talked about delegating and prioritizing your tasks with the idea that separating out the essential from the non-essential tasks will help you get the important stuff done. We talked about the possibility of hiring a VA, a virtual assistant, to help you manage the tasks that are outside your zone of genius. And we talked about prioritizing what needs to be done right now to take the next steps forward in your business. Finally, we talked about the importance of taking a break. This might be a simple 10-minute stretch break or a walk around the house or building. Might be saying no to additional commitments, and it's definitely scheduling time for your hobbies or developing a hobby if you let those go by the wayside. Maybe you could even take up juggling as a hobby. Maybe now you're thinking about juggling. I know, kind of a bad joke. But here we are at the action item. Because the tendency is to work more this week, your action item is to schedule in some breaks. Try setting a phone alarm to go off 10 minutes before the top of the hour and use those 10 minutes to grab water, to stretch, to walk around, or just stand and breathe. Think about swimming pools. If you go to a swimming pool in the summer that's lifeguarded, there is an adult swim the last 10 minutes of every hour. This is so that the lifeguards can take a break, they can recover from watching the water, and they can return ready to work and be effective at spotting danger and rescuing when necessary. We need breaks to be effective and efficient. Treat those 10 minutes as a way to take care of yourself and take care of your business. You are going to return refreshed and ready to be effective with your time and energy after those 10 minutes. There you have it. Time management in a nutshell. As a business owner, we're busy juggling many different pieces to the business and personal life on top of that. And the last thing that we want is for the plates to come crashing down or the oranges to splat on the kitchen floor, because that would just be another task, cleaning up all the mess. We don't want to do that. By delegating, prioritizing, scheduling your day, creating goals, and taking breaks, you are less likely to break the plates or splat the oranges. I'd love to know, as you take action this week, what has been most helpful from this week's episode. So please, wherever you're listening to this podcast, leave me a review. I do look at those reviews and the comments, and I'm always thinking about how I can better serve you as you build your business. So when you leave a review or a comment, it helps me know what to share more with you so that you can be more effective as an entrepreneur. After all, that's what the Coaching Hive is all about. So I'll see you back here next week for another episode of the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, where a focus on mentoring and community and implementation removes the overwhelm of building your successful and profitable business and adds in a dose of momentum. Until next time, have a healthy, safe, and happy week.